Where does the money go? Where did the money go? Deron, tell me what happened. Where did the money go? Where does the money go? I paid you. Where did the money go? Where does the money go? Tell me about the money.
Imagine investing your life savings into your dream home, only to realize it was all a lie. This isn't just a story. It's happening all around Atlanta, from fake listings to fraudulent contracts. Unsuspecting buyers are being swindled by individuals posing as reputable realtors. Okay, if you're planning to relocate to Atlanta, heed this warning. Always work with a licensed realtor, not just an investor with a real estate license. Okay, in this video, okay, this one particular case, a man who has allegedly scammed numerous families with his deceptive practices. Okay, we'll hear from the victims themselves, okay, sharing their heartbreaking experiences and how they were caught in his web of lies. Stay with me as I dive into the dark world of real estate fraud, uncover the truth, and reveal how you can protect yourself from falling into this same trap, okay?
Well, they invested with who they believe was an Atlanta real estate pro, but don't know what happened to their money after.
Wow, and Channel 2 consumer investigator Justin Gray with us on this. So Justin, you talked to some investors who have similar stories here.
And Justin, of course, there are no guarantees a real estate investment is going to pay out profits, but these investors say this is more than just a bad investment.
If you want to present an opportunity for everyone to come in and make 100, 150, maybe 200 grand over the next 18 months just by flipping properties.
Ben Lee recorded parts of Deron Dimmick's real estate pitch on base at Fort Campbell in Kentucky.
I was really impressed by what he was saying. I mean, he was really good.
But the market was crazy.
As Lee was preparing to leave the Army, the investment opportunity sounded enticing.
So I just took a leap of faith.
He paid a $5,000 coaching fee to get started and invested another $15,000. But you don't have to go to one of Dimmick's in-person presentations.
The problem is that you're complacent and you're okay with where you are in life.
The Atlanta real estate investor also pitches on social media.
He knows how to talk.
Daphne Bonilla first met Dimmick on an Atlanta movie set. She invested $20,000 with him.
So the agreement was that I would get a minimum of 20% of my investment within 90 days after the commencement of this project.
I knew Deron from high school.
Eartha and Zuri Farngalo were living in New York, but turned to Dimmick because they wanted to flip houses here in Atlanta.
So we really leapt at this opportunity for someone who presented themselves as an expert in this area to be able to do that from afar.
You gave him $30,000. What do you have to show for it?
Nothing.
The Farngalos, Ben Lee, and Daphne Bonilla all had similar reasons for wanting to invest, and all are in a similar spot now.
I was in communication with him and his assistant for the whole time until he stopped responding.
He started sort of ghosting me. He stopped answering. He would make excuses.
We never saw a property. We never got any details.
Yeah, everything is in, but
Deron Dimmick agreed to speak to me by Zoom as he checked in on work at an Atlanta property he's renovating.
you can't have the success that I have. You can't accomplish the things that I've accomplished by stealing from people.
Dimmick says skyrocketing interest rates and inflation changed the business overnight as these investors were looking for a quick return.
Materials went up, things went up. It just happened. I almost lost everything.
And he showed me his contract that states right at the top, client understands that the real estate market may change unexpectedly, rendering some or all the information provided by the consultant null and void.
People who invest and want the quick return, they don't understand that process.
The Frangalos don't buy that argument. Their attorney says $10,000 of what they're fighting for was a wire transfer. For their initial investment, Dimmick wanted faster, so they sent a second time through Venmo.
You send it to me that way, it's going to take too long. Send it to me the faster digital method, and I'll return the wire transfer to you, and it just never happened.
Do you owe them $10,000? Does somebody owe them $10,000?
GWP owes them $10,000. Yes.
Dimmick claims it's the LLC, GWP Consulting, that owes the money, not him. His company is GWP Holdings. Both companies are listed as dissolved on the Secretary of State Registry. Dimmick says Daphne Bonilla's money is still invested in a project that is not completed.
The only remedy is just give me a little bit more time. I can get it worked out.
As for Ben Lee,
I'll tell you straight up, Ben Lee is an honest guy. Ben Lee is going to be made whole.
Lee says he's heard that before.
They gave me all of these dates saying that I would get a payment to do payment arrangements, but every time the date would come, nobody would answer.
We certainly don't have a property. I think that's the most hurtful part of this, right? This is $30,000 that we could have invested in the market. We could have invested in an actual property.
Now, Dimmick claims the Frangalos backed out of 3 projects and lost earnest money because of it. But in a default judgment, a Cobb court ordered GWB Consulting to pay the Frangalos $30,000 plus attorney fees. They haven't seen a dime of that money, and they are suing Dimmick directly as well. That case is still open, as are separate lawsuits by both of the other people we talked to today.
So, Justin, is there something people looking to invest can do to keep out of something like this?
It's one of those things that's not rocket science, right? You got to do your research. All 3 investors we talked to said the same thing. They wish they had done more on the front end, but the thing was, they went with somebody they trusted.
Okay, question 1. Can people investing in a property that doesn't return a profit sue the person who introduced them to the deal? Okay, it depends. The answer is it depends on the circumstances and the terms of the agreement. If the introducer made false representations or failed to disclose important information, investors might have grounds for a lawsuit based on fraud or misrepresentation. However, if the investment simply didn't yield a profit due to market conditions or other legitimate business risks, suing may not be successful. Legal advice should be sought to assess the specifics of the case. Okay, remember that. Question number 2. If the investor has an LLC and the contract of the investment business between parties were with the LLC. Okay, because remember Duran mentioned that that he doesn't owe them any money, that GWP owes them the money. GWP LLC is his business, his LLC. Okay, which we saw in the video that it has been dissolved. Okay, so again, so if the investor has an LLC and the contract of the investment business between parties were with the LLC, is the individual owner of the LLC responsible for paying the people who invested the LLC? Okay, the answer, generally the individual owner of an LLC is not personally liable for the debts and obligations of the LLC. The LLC structure provides limited liability protection, okay? Meaning the company itself is responsible for its debts, not the individual owner. However, exceptions exist, such as cases of fraud, or if the owner personally guaranteed the investment. Okay, legal advice is recommended for specific situations. Okay, always remember that. Okay, now what happens if the LLC has been dissolved? As we know in this case, GWP was dissolved. Okay, if an LLC has been dissolved, several things can happen. Okay, first, claims against the LLC. Existing obligations. The dissolved LLC must settle its existing debts and obligations, including any claims from investors or creditors. Dissolution does not erase these liabilities. Okay, now legal actions. Creditors and investors can still bring claims against the dissolved LLC to recover their investments or any owed amounts. Okay, distribution assets. Asset liquidation. The LLC's remaining assets will be liquidated to pay off creditors and settle any claims. Any remaining assets after satisfying debts will be distributed to the LLC members according to their ownership interests. Okay? 3, when it comes to limited liability protection, individual liability. Generally, members of the LLC retain limited liability protection even after dissolution, meaning they are not personally responsible for the LLC's debts. However, this protection can be pierced in cases of fraud, wrongful conduct, or personal guarantees, as mentioned before. Okay, now responsibility of the owner. Post-dissolution conduct. If the owner of the dissolved LLC engages in activities to defraud creditors or investors, they can be held personally liable. Okay, now revival of LLC. In some jurisdictions, As dissolved LLC, a dissolved LLC can be revived or reinstated to handle outstanding obligations and legal actions. Okay, but remember this, okay, for specific legal advice and actions, it is crucial to consult a legal professional who can provide guidance based on the particular circumstances and local laws governing LLCs. Okay, this is a wrap up. Remember, life is full of lessons, some harder to learn than others, but it's through these experiences that we grow stronger and wiser. Keep your head high, stay vigilant, and never stop learning from the world around you. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. I'm Eva Liddell, reminding you that every story has something to teach us. Until next time, stay inspired and keep moving forward.